Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, RFK Refugees Podcast. Ted here, John here, and we are joined by a very, very special guest. She is the defender for the Washington Spirit. She is not currently flexing her biceps right now, like her Twitter account shows, but that's it. Paige Nielsen. Paige, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And
yeah,
I didn't know we were going to be on camera otherwise. What a different shirt.
Well, this is the first time we've ever had anyone on the show who has a Twitter account for an anatomical part of her body. So this is big. This is big for us. I think I have it in here later as saying, like, what is that? How does having that influence your workout routine? Like, if it were me, I'd be like, I need to do at least 2 more sets of curls every day now because I can't let this Twitter account down. I've got to, at least from that perspective, keep that going. That would be the way I'd handle it. But
sometimes I crack under pressure and I just want to lay, but
I don't blame you.
Thank you for genetics.
So let's get started. So for our listeners who may not be as familiar, so we cover all DC soccer, Spirit in addition to the rest of DC United and Loudoun. But you've had a bit of a world tour before settling down here in DC, and now you're a staple. I think you've been here now. You become a senior staple here very quickly in the NWSL. It doesn't take too many years, and you're like, oh, she's been here forever. After playing in college, UNC, you were drafted by the Reign, and then you had some stints in Australia, Cyprus, and South Korea. Aside from Australia, I don't think those are the typical stops on a soccer journey that you normally read about. How do you think that unconventional path sort of helped shape the professional you are now and sort of just your career in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of successful NWSL players, other than U.S. national team players, take an unconventional path, and it's kind of the sacrifices you need to take to get game experience in all different types of leagues and different play styles. And I mean, it was an incredible journey for me. It wasn't a sacrifice, I guess. For me, it completely shaped who I am today as a player. I went to North Carolina, and I walked on there, and I took everything I took everything that I was given in North Carolina and applied that to my game. But then there's so much more, like the South Korean league. They were very technical, and the German league. I was there for a little bit, and Australia was a confidence booster. So all of that combined, it was, I just took the most that I could from each league and became an overall rounded player. And confidence is the biggest thing in this league. We're all very good players. It's the one who come out on top with confidence.
Yeah, and I've seen you speak in interviews about your time in South Korea specifically, about the technical nature of it, and it was sort of transformative for your, play style. You're also growing up. You're out of college. You're still a young person, sort of getting to live in a different culture with a completely different society. You're learning a new language. That's a huge adjustment for anybody at any time. But specifically from an on the field perspective, you've played all over the field. You've played in the midfield. You've played a forward. And then you get to NWSL. You're like, I'm a good center back. You played there in college for 1 year, but it wasn't sort of what you were known for up until that point. Do you think that the stint that you were in South Korea, sort of getting sort of that completely different tactical mindset from a different sort of soccer playing country helped you in that specific way as being a player that has that in her bag as well as sort of just, the other skills that you've learned along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the strength that I had at the time, and this was before I was deciding what team to go to. I had like Portugal, Germany, or South Korea, and I chose South Korea, the weirdest one. But I looked at my strengths, and it was instincts. I had really great soccer IQ. I was pretty athletic. I had the physique and the fitness, and my instincts were incredible. It's like a safety in the NFL. You can really read the game. What I was lacking was my technical precision, which is crisp passes and knowing where to be at all times on the field. And I talked to Anson Dorrance, my college coach, and he was like, 1, the money was pretty good in South Korea, and 2, it's going to just complete you as a player. And I think if you really are honest with yourself as a player, especially when you're young and you figure out what you need to be one of the best, I think just focusing on those like little things will actually get you really far.
Yeah, and one more question I want to ask you. You sort of mentioned it wasn't a sacrifice, and the unconventional path is somewhat conventional in the NWSL. And there's a lot to be made from. I've seen, doing a little bit of research. There was an article, I think, in your hometown paper that was talking about your 3 part-time jobs you held in your first preseason, and that story gets told a lot by NWSL players. Less so now, but still now. With minimum salaries increasing, housing on some clubs being taken care of either by stipend or completely. So it's getting better. But what is the on-field effect for players that have to have 5 side hustles while playing to earn the living that they're looking for? And knowing too, like we're somewhat new to following NWSL the last couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years we've been following, but like seeing young players retire and seeing the ability to make, and this was the case at MLS too earlier on, and seeing the ability to get another job making 3 times the salary pretty easily means that you retire at 26 and 25 when you're in your playing prime, and it's like, well, I gotta eat and I need a 401k, so the choices are made. But what on the field, what does it mean to have to diversify your time so much in order to at the lower end just make ends meet, or in the middle or in the higher end try to like make a living and make it so that you're living comfortably like the way you should as a professional soccer player?
Yeah, I mean, when I was 21 and I took a job where I was going to get 6 figures right away out of college.
That UNC degree right there, right?
Yeah. And then I got drafted. I had a real decision to make. That was really hard, especially when you're young and, I don't know, our country's pretty greedy. I grew up poor, so I was like, holy crap, this is more money than I've ever seen in my life. I think our parents as a generation did a really good job of going after kind of our dreams. I don't know, my mom did anyways. And I see that a lot with the people that stayed in the league, that are fighting, that have been in the league for a long time. They're like, no amount of money is going to make me leave. And that's why our league is so great. The people that stay are so invested in soccer, and they want to be role models for younger kids. And basically it goes 2 ways. It's either you retire early and you get a real job and this league can't be sustainable. However, we're making improvements, and the ones that did take 3 jobs that are continuing their soccer growth, they're making this league grow. So I don't know. Like when I was in Seattle and I took 3 jobs, all I could think about was getting better as a soccer player so I didn't have to do that anymore, which is basically make the US team, because financially they're doing okay. And but then I met so many rad women soccer players, women's sports in general, that are fighting for better pay. And I think we just made awesome strides, and we're going to continue to grow.
Yeah, that struggle as motivation mentality is one we've heard a lot. We had Felipe on the show a couple months ago, and he was basically talking about like the American male player, the one that gets out of college. This is his perspective from being from Brazil and playing sort of he's had a pretty international focused career as well, but that there's always a fallback plan. There's a good fallback plan in the United States. You're probably going to either get into coaching or you'll find a job that you're making a good living if you went to college. But he's like, in Brazil, that was not the case. Like the motivation to succeed is so high because the price of failure is one you don't want to pay. And I think that, like you said, like having to work all those jobs and still being a professional athlete and having to keep your body in the best shape you can is the best motivator to be like, I've got to keep going up because this is not long-term sustainable for anybody.
Right.
Go ahead, Ted.
So, yeah. So I was kind of looking up some of the videos the team produces on Twitter, and I know they had the one that was posted about I think it was When I Made It, and he talked about your experience breaking Carly Lloyd's ankles in a game, and going but the interesting part with that is that I believe you talked about also meeting the former U.S. women's coach at a coaching license, and so I want to, obviously that was an awesome moment to punk a world champion. But I think also I want to ask a little bit, are you sort of seeing a sort of jumping right into coaching after playing? Is that kind of your next step, or was the opportunity there and you're like, I'll take this and maybe I'll figure it out? Or do you see yourself becoming a coach in the future?
That's a good question, and I go back and forth. I see myself as a good coach, and I love helping little kids. During season, I found out that like it kind of exhausts me because like I want to pour all my energy into these kids, but then it maybe affects my play, which is unfortunate. I would like to be a coach in the future. I don't know if that will be like a full-time job for me. I'm interested in a lot of different things, and I'm taking some cybersecurity masters. Yeah, I like to keep my options open, but definitely gonna coach my own kids if I have them one day, and my nephew and nieces. I love it.
We were
I see more of myself as an assistant coach because I can really read the game and kind of fix things after that.
A soccer defender wants to be in cybersecurity. That sounds perfect. Like that's like, I feel like there's some. If you ever own a company, you can come up with some pretty cool names based on that.
Right.
The newspaper headline writes itself. I feel like it's sort of on. It's you're doing a favor to anybody who wants to write an article about that. So I think let's talk about this year so far. Your last game you played in before you went out injured was against Orlando, who we're playing against this weekend. How's your rehab gone? Are you in the mix to play this weekend? What's the time on the sideline been like for you so far?
It's been awful.
Yep,
I've never been.
That's about right.
I've never been injured before, and I really commend all those people that have torn their ACL 3 times. Like it's been awful, but also good at the same time. Kind of stepping away from the game. In Orlando, I was even not 100%, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to get 100%.
Did you get a PRP injection before that game too? Was that you? I'm trying to remember from the pregame. Seemed we were.
Yeah. I got it after, which I should have got it before. I got a PRP in my knee, my hamstring, and my glute. Because I've been dealing with the hamstring thing all year, and I've never really had to deal with anything. So I just keep playing through the pain, and I was like, wait, it's not getting better. I'm getting older. I'm not bouncing back.
What's that about?
I don't know. But it's going really well. I took much needed time off, been in the pool, the Alter G, a lot of physical therapy, and I will be back soon. Probably not this weekend, but the next.
Okay.
One to sort of tack on to that, obviously, 2020 was a rough year. No season. You had the Challenge Cup, which was certainly a great event. But how does it feel? Sort of, I know you're getting ready to start playing in a normal season. But how does it feel to sort of be back into like a normal season, a normal groove? As normal as it can be, obviously. There's some other things that have happened in 2021 for the Spirit that have made it a little not normal. But how does that sort of feel to be week in, week out, normal season with playoffs and everything?
I mean, it's amazing. Like last year just showed the type of resiliency our team had, and when you finally feel like you're there working towards something as a team, that's incredible. For me personally, it's been tougher because I was probably the most fit I've ever been coming up into preseason. And that's, I guess, usually when you get hurt.
Particularly when you have a 30-day preseason or a 30-year preseason or whatever this one was.
Right. And I probably trained too much in the off season. I obviously had really big aspirations with the U.S. national team. And it kind of blindsided me a little bit. So all year I've been dealing with an injury, but to be honest, our team's really exciting. We have young girls that are playing like they're 30 years old. They're very mature. And I cannot wait to get all the pieces together. You can see little pieces here and there. We're grinding out some points. And season is here. And all the teams are really exciting this year. You have no idea what teams are going to produce after a couple months. And it's really fun learning and growing together. And I believe that we are going to be in the finals this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about resiliency. This last like 10 days is a perfect example. You had the Wednesday scramble to get down to Houston, get 3 points. A game in Tacoma that I think going into it, knowing your captain was out on a red card, looking at the lineup you're facing, understanding you're on short rest, understanding you had less than 1 day. The players who played had less than 1 day to get to get their affairs back in order before they shipped over to the West Coast. Another 3 points. Like this team, I think that, like you said, the pieces are not all in place yet, but you're getting points. You're in second place. Points are getting on the board, and that sort of resilience is got to be a hallmark for a team to succeed in a long NWSL season. Does that seem right to you as well?
Absolutely. And every point matters. When it gets closer to the end, like you're like, if we just scored that goal that hit the crossbar, it's it's that inch that you need to go to become successful in our league.
For the fan, tactically, what's different from the defense this year? So I think there was a lot of conversation in the Challenge Cup from Richie about wanting to have more formational flexibility and sort of I don't know if I would say frustration, but sort of realizing there were growing pains and sort of trying to institute new tactical ideas in the Challenge Cup, and sort of having to go back to what worked in the past to be able to play the game out. From your spot on the field, what's different this year, or what will be different when you're back on the field full time?
I mean, yeah, we resorted back to our 4-3-3, our most comfortable formation, but considering the personnel we have, what Richie tries to do is get the best 11 on the field no matter what position they are, and that requires different formations. Like he tried the 3-5 or 3-4-4. I just know 3 at the back.
Right. that set of numbers are the ones that is most important. I get that.
Yeah. And I think it's really fun. And we have all footballers, like we know how to play soccer, and it's just really doing the right things at training. It's doing developing relationships with each other on and off the field to basically implement those formations and strategies well. And I think we're not done trying that formation, especially if everyone's healthy. Kelly's a little bit in and out. Tori's been great this year. Last year she was a little bit in and out. But when we are full squad ready to go, I think there's a number of formations that we can do to become successful. And we're all really flexible because we're really great soccer players.
The team currently sits in second place. It's early. You're gaining points, playing really stingy defense as a team, like not really conceding almost at all.
Yeah.
And now in the last in the last couple of games, you're starting to capitalize on the large number of chances the team is generating. That was sort of the sticky point. It was like chances. We're not finishing. We've got to be more clinical up front. You've sort of alluded to this before, but as you've been able to watch some of these teams play, as you've been out, I assume you're watching Paramount Plus, just like we are trying to go stay up on the league. Yeah. Not non-paid plug there for Paramount Plus. What's your, you think you're going to be in the finals? I think you said that. So your level of optimism obviously is high, but like where, I think we also were saying at the beginning of the year, everyone's predictions so far, not going great. It's not a great year to be a prognosticator for NWSL. Although I think, a lot of people were comfortable saying the Spirit are going to be in the conversation in the East, and that, already in the conversation. But like, what's your level of optimism overall for understanding you're going to be in the final? But like, this team is now starting to come together. The team is now starting to finish chances. You've got young. Sorry, my dog just busted in. You've got young forwards. Tara McKeown now jumping right from college, having a week of training in the game, now starting. Still an opportunity to maybe add more pieces. There's still an opportunity, a window to improve. Just talk about your general level of like where this team fits in the conference and in the league in general with where you're at now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a statistician, assistant coach, and more often than not, more experienced teams win championships. That's just how it is. Tom Brady is super experienced, and but right now we added more experience, whether that's in the front line or the back line. We have more experience this year. We do still have younger players, but like I said, they're playing very mature. When I was 18, 19 years old, like Trinity Rodman, there's no way I would pick my head up and try and shoot. I would panic and shoot at any frame that I had. So like I said, the level of maturity that these young players have, and I think the colleges are doing a really great job preparing them for professional leagues now compared to the past has been amazing. And I credit our coaches picking out the players that fit our style the best. And they fit right in. These younger, newer players fit right in. And I really think we're going to have a shot with young and exciting energy mixed with more experience this year than we've had. Even the 2019 draft class with Sam Staub, Jordan DiBiase, they're probably Dorian Bailey Feist. They were like the best draft class, I think, ever. And now they're the experienced players, and they're only 23, 24 years old. And our team has allowed to basically grow these players in a way that a lot of teams haven't been able to. And I'm really excited to see where we go.
I think that's right to give props there to Richie and the rest of the team picking for the draft, because they don't miss. Like you're absolutely right. If you look at the names that come out from a draft class and then they're starting, or they're in the next year starting, or they're in 2 years on are the foundational pieces of the team. It doesn't happen on every team, and you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with understanding the qualities of a player that you want and how the rest of the team, what the rest of the team needs and how they can accommodate them. So I just wanted to reiterate your support there. I think that's really really well spotted. The team is in a much better position because they don't waste draft picks.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can help me with a little theory I had on last week's show here, Paige. So we know Richie Burke here is a motivator, and we know he was asked about a certain former teammate of y'all's, Rose Lavelle, and he was like, "Oh, she's a great player. Oh, I'm so scared to play her
against." The
best
player, I believe he said the
best player in the world. I'm thinking that was maybe a little bit of reverse psychology, maybe on the rest of the players. Say, "Oh, you think she's great? We'll show you. We'll go out there and put out a performance." Sure. Can you confirm or deny? Maybe that was his thinking.
Particularly a certain number 10 on your team who played like her hair was on fire
phenomenally.
Maybe.
To be honest, if it's reverse psychology or not, I think Richie and I can agree that Roosevelt's the best player in the world, or one of the best. And we were really sad to see her go. Yeah. Every player has to do things that they need to, and she was a big piece of our team. And but Richie does believe in his own players and knows that if we play the way we want to play, no one player can affect us. And I don't know. I know Paul Riley for North Carolina Courage does reverse psychology. Always the underdogs. They've been national champions.
You're fooling no one, Paul. It's no one believes you.
They're always the underdogs, right? And Richie, for us, it's like, even though we're young, every single one of my players I would take over this team. And you guys just have to show that you should be confident. Never thinks of us the underdogs, because he was a confident player himself, like maybe too confident, but it works.
I like that. I think I like that better than the other. I think that's more easy to believe. Obviously there's collective delusion in North Carolina if the players still up to this point are like, you know what, he's right. Everyone doubted us. Who could have ever thought we would do it? I think that Richie's system makes a lot more sense.
And it allows our 20-year-old players to just go do their thing. They're not scared at all. You see Ashley Sanchez taking experienced vets on all the time. Like it's so fun to see.
I think in 30 years we're going to have an interview where Ashley Sanchez is going to be sitting down and we're going to hear the Richie Burke talking about how great Rose Lavelle is, and she's going to be sitting and say, "I took that personally."
Yeah.
If you get my reference.
Speaking about how one player leaving or one player not being there has not sort of changed the goals of the team and sort of the chance creation. So obviously that there was a move there. She moved on. Chance creation was not affected here so far in the Challenge Cup and after the fact. But Bailey Feist being injured, I think myself, some of the other beat writers that were following the team were like, this is her year. Like her Challenge Cup, she from my perspective was like player of the match almost every time in the Challenge Cup. She was just on fire, and she gets hurt in a friendly before the season finally starts. Did you also think she was gonna have a big year, her first sort of full season in a position where she probably was gonna start she was in the starting 11 for sure. And Richie was pumped, I think, to have her have a more increasing role in a full length season.
Yeah. She was my roommate. We had an incredible year together last year. We used COVID as our time to get better individually. And I'm telling you, she was doing freaking incredible in preseason. And it makes me a little emotional thinking about it because she was going to have an amazing year, like so confident. She was a beast. She could run for miles and miles. Rose Lavelle-esque. Yep. That usually happens. Like when you're at your prime, something happens to test your resiliency or something. I can tell you that she's going to come back stronger. Yeah, it's a bummer, but they can't stop us from our goals, you know?
Yep. I think the team will only be better when they're able to reincorporate her back in. And, you know,
Absolutely.
ACL now is that's like a hamstring pull at this point. It seems like that's an unfortunate reality. I think the Twitter refrain is always ban ACLs. And we agree with that on the show. Speaking of Twitter, we got a couple questions from listeners. They wanted to know a few things from you. I'm going to butcher these names pretty bad here. Nope, not going to try. Somebody on Twitter said, what qualities make a player able to play multiple positions? I think this is great for you, but also you talked about the tactical flexibility of the team. There's like 4 or 5 players. Sayori Takarada was one that they signed. I was like, in the Challenge Cup, I didn't know much about her previous experience in Japan. I was like, center back. Okay. All right, cool. No, that's fine. And then she's like, actually, she's a forward, but she's also very comfortable there. She's going to play there in the Olympics, but she's also going to play in the forward. So what makes that's not something you see everywhere in every sport. So what are the qualities that make a player able to do that? Just being a well-rounded soccer player, or just being, confident in every position?
The confidence comes from technically sound players. The technical ability is number one, probably. Like when you receive a ball, it's first touch. That's what makes you so comfortable on the ball. And I think everyone on our team has amazing technical ability. And that's what Richie likes. That's what he wants. That means you can play anywhere, especially when we play our team's motto, which is 60% possession, when we have the ball like stuck glued to our feet. So that's number one, technical. And 2, tactical, like being very smart. So we play a lot of possession games, 5v2, and it's never really directional. So you're everywhere at all times on the field. So you just see the triangles like all over the field and basically how you're going to beat this player. So once you have that in your head where you're just trying to beat this player in front of you, it doesn't really matter what position you are. Yeah,
fair enough.
I guess. Yeah, tactical.
Just be good. Just be good and be confident and you can be playing anywhere. I think that's good enough.
We have another question coming in from Paul O'Brien at Dash Fan in Real Life. It says, we all know Paige of being very fit, but being a good center back is also about being able to stay focused for 90 minutes. Even a brief lapse can lead to a miscommunication or misread and a goal. How do you maintain the mental acuity for the duration of the match?
Honestly, I don't sometimes, and that's why you have your goalkeeper yell at you from the back of your head. And Sam Staub and I have each other's backs a lot. Like, you have to communicate the entire game, but also have to see who's on your shoulder, but also have to keep your line like up. There's a lot of things you have to do, and I'm mentally exhausted at the game. But you have each other. And I take half a caffeine pill before a game, so that makes me alert. And honestly, like ever since I was little, my older brother used to play soccer, and the entire time I was just so fascinated watching him and watching games on TV. And I honestly can't like look away. I'm fascinated with every player's movements and basically how I can beat every single player that's near me because I'm so competitive. The more you immerse yourself in those environments, the better you want to become. And that involves being alert at all times. And it is a task, but when you're a center back, you put being a leader on your shoulders. you don't want to disappoint people, which is your coach, yourself, and your teammates. So I think I use that as my like sole motivator, to make sure that I don't disappoint my team and they can rely on me at all times.
I think Ashley Hatch talked about she was using a sports psychologist to do sort of similar, half a caffeine pill, sports psychologist, whatever it takes to sort of like get your mental game straight. I think that's as long as it I feel like in center back the game is in front of you at least. I feel like it's coming to you a lot of the time, so it's maybe sometimes harder to switch off maybe because the play is always happening in front of you versus sort of, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's hard no matter what. But having this question come from Dash Fan in real life makes me think of another question. As a sort of a new NWSL observer, it's interesting to see such a supportive fan base for the whole league. There are more league fans than there are team fans. I mean, there are both.
Right.
But like it's interesting coming sort of being a new observer to the league, a new follower. What's that like? What's it like not having like just horrible vitriol in your Twitter mentions like DC United players score a goal against the Red Bull and then they can't use Twitter for a week because it's not
right.
What is this seems better. This seems like a better model as far as like a non-toxic and mentally healthy athlete situation.
It's, you know what, you're right. Like there's never really hatred. It's actually amazing. I mean, in the past, girls would move teams a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that now because we have longer year contracts and stuff. At the start, people would move teams all the time. So fans of the league would just follow players everywhere.
The joke I made was it's the Rob Lowe with the NFL shield hat, but have it be the NWSL logo on it.
Yeah, and it's just a really awesome community and vibe. You know, people want to see women succeed where we haven't had the most success in the past, especially towards men's sports, and there's just basically fight for equality, and puts my faith in humanity. You know, it's been amazing basically interacting with our fans, and more fans are coming, so it's a lot harder for us to, but I think as players we do a really good job interacting with our fans, and I think you really can't hate on us for that, whether it's our fans or Portland's fans or anything. So it's really cool.
I think this week Megan Rapinoe got a little bit of attention or last week trying to change that dynamic a little bit by celebrating very hard in front of Portland's fans and trying to be like, you have to hate me. This is how this works. You have to hate. But I think in general,
that's one rival. Portland, when I was with Seattle, we would like stomp on roses. Just that's one rival they're trying to.
Yeah.
The Portland fans are crazy as well.
I think this is better. This is certainly a better setup. I think the rest of the league certainly have something to learn from this as far as like, you got enough stress in the rest of your life. Like you got enough problems in the rest of your life. Like don't vent your spleen and all of your personal stuff at these athletes. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Don't go on the Facebook page for DC United, for instance. Like that's a good example of where not to go if you want to avoid that in your life. And I have one last question, sort of a fun question. I saw you tagged in a tweet about Nebraska's crypto, like new crypto offering. Is that something you're really interested in? I'm a aficionado, so I was just curious what your level of interest is in it.
I love cryptocurrency. I do think it's the future, and I've been researching this company for a really long time in Nebraska. Telcoin. Shout out.
That's right. Feel free to say the it's on Coinbase or something. You could pump your coin.
It's on KuCoin. It's on KuCoin exchange. I'm on a lot of different exchanges, but I majored in finance. I almost took a sales and trading job at Bank of America, and it's a really fun hobby for me. So
you got to be the first. You got to be the first NWSL player to have a publicly staked opinion on crypto. I think this is an opportunity to differentiate. I think you should go with this.
Okay.
I think it's good.
I'm the crypto geek.
Yeah, see if you can get like a sleeve ad, like sell some space for KuCoin. I think that's the way to go.
Right.
So let's wrap it up, Ted.
Yep. Paige, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you get back to the rest of your day. You guys are playing Sunday against Orlando. Can we make Orlando a rival? Like, can we do that? Like, I wanted like a spirit rival. I know, like, I want a team that like I want to get geared up to beat. So I want you to help me that on the field. Do something incredible. I don't want you doing that makes this a rival. If you do play on Sunday.
There's no Red Bull can. There's no like sort of like physical manifestation. It's like some like have a stuffed lion that ripped the head off a stuffed lion. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out.
I don't know how to like take down like pride.
Right, right. It's a bad month for that. Right.
I know.
We'll cede the points. Unfortunately, we can't say anything about pride this month. So unfortunately. All right. Yeah. So Paige, thanks for joining us. And everybody follow Paige on Twitter at just your name, right? At Paige Nielsen.
Yep.
Follow her biceps.
And Instagram, P Nielsen 24.
And buy Qcoin. So there's all opportunities all up and down the board. Thanks, Paige.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you guys on Monday. Vamos.